everybody. Welcome to our pitch session on changing habits. It's a great time to put on your headphones so that you can hear what's about to happen. It's wonderful to have you here on day 3 of Change Now. We've heard so many incredible pitches over the last couple of days, and I'm really excited for this topic this morning because it's all about changing habits. We've heard so many amazing ideas for tech solutions, and this is all really important, but we know that if we don't change our habits and take on that responsibility as individuals to change on a more cultural level, bigger changes aren't going to be possible. And so this morning we're going to be hearing from solutions who will be pitching their ideas for how we can change our habits for a more sustainable world. Now, I'm not here alone. I'm here with my 2 wonderful jury members this morning who will be asking questions of our pitchers later on. And so I would love to give the stage to you to introduce yourself and especially to share what are you excited about this morning for our pitching session.
Thank you, Emily. Do you hear me?
Yeah, yes.
Okay,
yeah.
It's okay. So, hi everyone. My name is Sevinch Arshimo and I'm the clean tech expert at Choose Paris Region. Choose Paris Region is a government agency dedicated to economic development, and our mission is to help foreign companies to establish their business here in Paris region. So I'm here since 2 days. I have seen a lot of excited solutions in the energy, in the food, and now I'm very excited to learn more solution of your event.
Great to have you here. Thank you.
Hi, thank you. I'm Clémence. I'm a VC manager at Innovexus, which is the first cross-border acceleration fund between Europe and the US. So we support European entrepreneurs with American capital and DNA. I've been here for the past few days. I'm very excited to see how they tackle today's challenges, wicked and complex challenges with new habits of consumptions and production. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Now, audience, we have a job for you as well, of course, and it is day 3 of our conference, and I know a lot of us are already feeling a little bit tired. So I really need your support to bring up the energy to support our solutions every time they come on stage, because they are going to have 3 minutes to present what their work, their dreams, their ideas are all about. And once the gong goes, it's over. So we're going to be very, very tight and strict with the time this morning. And in the middle, we'll have time for Q&A. So let's get to it. And I want to now invite to the stage our first solution of the morning, which is Crowd for Impact, making the world a better place, one happy employee at a time. Big warm welcome, everybody.
Good morning. My name is Johannes Boren, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Crowd for Impact. And I would like to introduce you what we do in order to take what's happening here also with you to your offices for the rest of the year, because here is the solutions, but what happens out there after it? That's the question. And problems, I don't have to tell you, we got plenty to solve. And here are the entrepreneurial solutions around it. If you go out there into the world, zillions are spent on ESG. Usually they are just plasters for the problems, but not solutions. There's greenwashing, there's pinkwashing, whatever washing. And we want to give an alternative to have these real solutions here being adopted for the rest of the years through these budgets which are spent. How do we do it? We have built a sustainability as a service platform which combines elements of crowdfunding and similar stuff like Patreon, for instance. So on one side of our platform, we have our impact portfolio. Those are leading Finnish impact startups, and hopefully soon also all those impact makers from France. They do all that stuff which you see here. They protect biodiversity, fight plastic waste, climate change, you name it, with entrepreneurial solutions to the problems. On the other side, we may have you as individuals. You can contribute to these campaigns by buying their goods, services, and impact creation. What's different to some other solutions, we have companies doing that. And for that, we have designed a service which allows them to have a customized user experience on the platform, so they only see the stuff which they are looking for. And they can offer their employees, for instance, meaningful rewards, as Christmas gifts, for instance. So instead of having this Amazon voucher where you can choose some consumer product, you only have top-notch sustainability products as Christmas gifts to your employees. And last but not least, we can inform you about the choices these employees or stakeholders have made. So what do your employees care about? Usually companies don't know, they just make a guess. And of course, what we're also working on is that the startups report their data, impact data, towards those who contributed. We have some success cases where this has worked. I'm happy to inform you about all these nice stories, but my time is running up. So I would just like to invite you to have a look, take your phones out and scan these codes and get in contact with me to get a demo of the whole tool. So thank you very much. And
thank you very much.
See you somewhere. Thanks.
You can give me that. Okay, so next up we have got Planet Possible, who are making climate action easy, accessible and impactful. Welcome to the stage.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Anisha Desai, founder of Planet Possible, and I'm here to share how we make climate action easy, accessible, and impactful. So more than 70% of Americans feel climate anxiety, but often don't know what to do or where to start. From our research, we found some widespread barriers to climate action include lack of information, lack of community, and more importantly, limited time. We provide a solution that curates a carousel of actions sourced by partner organizations based on where you live, how much time you have, and most importantly, actions that prioritize our goal of reducing emissions by 2030. Simply find an action and share it with the Planet Possible community. There you can find local and global action to take, and you can track your impact as an individual and the impact you can have as a community. We have launched the platform with a target audience of young millennials and Gen Z ranging from 18 to 30, starting with the committed student. In 2021, roughly 75% of student respondents had stated they want to see prioritization of the environment from their university. On the other hand, we see roughly 1,000 universities committing to net zero, and that number is going to double in the next decade. There's roughly 220 million students enrolled in a higher education institution, and looking at 14% of that market, there are 30 million students that attend the top 500 universities, all with sustainability commitments. At $10 per student per year, we yield a market opportunity of roughly 300 million, with the opportunity to expand to workplaces, corporations, and city governments. Now, why would a university subsidize roughly $600,000 for a platform to engage students around climate education, action, and advocacy? In just the United States, we see roughly 426 higher education institutions, all pledging to net zero around fossil fuel usage, purchased electricity, and employee commuting, but unfortunately, only 2% of those universities have completed the pledge. What we propose is a fourth category to engage students around education, advocacy, and action to amplify emission reduction and align to university commitment. We are a team of passionate volunteers from all around the world with one key goal: to make climate action easy and accessible. We believe by learning and by sharing, we can yield individual action into collective change. We've launched the platform 1 month ago with roughly 6,000 users and 15 partnerships, and are rapidly growing. To fund a full-time team, we're seeking about $1 million for 10% of the company. Thank you so much.
Huge round of applause. Thank you so much. All right, if you're just joining us, we're here today hearing solutions for changing habits for a more sustainable world. And next up, we have the Newsroom, who are fighting misinformation and promoting plurality. And you can tell us more about what it means. Big round of applause, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. So, good morning, everyone. I'm Jenny, co-founder of the Newsroom. Our mission is to fight misinformation and promote plurality online. Now, first of all, I would like you to look at this image. When approaching the news, have you ever felt like you didn't know where to get started? Or that you're always playing catch-up, but it's just too much? Well, I certainly have, and you're not alone in this. It's not working. Okay. There is a trust crisis in the news, and it impacts our democracies, our mental health, and every decision we take. We decide what to do about climate change, who to vote for, and whether or not to get a vaccine on the basis of the information we consume. And there's an incentives crisis in the news. Clicks are the currency, and they create an incentive for quantity over quality, for polarization over common ground, in a race to the bottom that is detrimental for everyone: journalists, news publishers, and civic society. But what if I told you that there could be a better way? What if we could rewrite the future of news together? Let's imagine you're reading about Germany's hesitancy to cut off Russian fossil fuels. Imagine that at a glance, you could get a snapshot of the facts and get just the facts. But then you could progressively deep dive, looking at different points of view. How are publishers talking about the same issue? What do they agree on? And what do they disagree on? Where's the debate going? But also, what's the historical context behind it? In this case, deep diving into the European dependency on Russian fossil fuels over the years. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. Do people care about this? Well, 55 million people aged 18 to 35 in Europe and the US access the news more than twice a day. And they care about quality information. They pay for news 43% more often than the rest of the population. So yes, people do care. And so do we. We are a committed and complementary team with skills spanning from data science to marketing and sales. My co-founder Pedro and I spent years talking about misinformation while working for large tech companies and looking at the same problem from two different lenses. Then COVID hit, and it gave us the urgency to act. And here we are today. So now the problem is that the news is in a crisis, but the good news is that there are solutions. We are the Newsroom, and our mission is to fight misinformation and promote plurality online. Now, do you want to come build the future of news with us? Come by our booth. We're in the Changing Habits section, or reach out to us directly. Thank you.
Yeah, the Newsroom. Thank you so much. All right, everyone. Next up, we have ShareAction, who are enhancing corporate transparency. Big round of applause.
Well, good morning, everyone. I'm James. I'm the head of the Workforce Disclosure Initiative at ShareAction. And at the WDI, we want to improve corporate transparency on working conditions. Now, today, we all know which of the world's largest companies are meeting their environmental commitments and which are failing. We know who the big polluters are. We know which firms are driving biodiversity loss. But what about the quality of jobs these multinational firms are delivering? Well, whether you are a radical NGO or a hard-nosed corporate, we don't know very much. And the main reason we don't know very much is because companies overall don't publish meaningful information on their staff or suppliers, and that's where the WDI comes in. Now, we are a small team, but we've achieved a lot. We have built an investor coalition, a global investor coalition, to stand behind our call for companies to publish more, better quality, and more comparable data on their staff and suppliers. We have developed the world's leading workforce-related reporting framework. We have in recent years generated more new information on workforce topics than anyone else. And this information is usable, being used today by investors, by companies, and by academics. And we have directly influenced the global sustainability reporting standards to try to ensure that as these standards evolve, workers are not forgotten. So to put some of this, to quantify this a little bit, if that clicks on, in the most recent reporting cycle, 173 of the world's largest firms reported data to us. These companies are headquartered in 25 countries across the world and have 11 million directly employed staff. 2/3 of this information is freely and publicly available, and we have shown that companies which respond to WDI publish 2.5 times more information on their workers than non-responders. Now, over the last couple of days at Change Now, we've heard a lot about the importance of coalitions. If we want to grapple with the huge challenges facing us, climate change, biodiversity loss, inequality, we must work together. And that's the spirit in which WDI was set up. We are a civil society organisation, supported initially by government. We work with investors to drive positive change within the world's most powerful companies. And it's in that spirit that we want to continue to grow our impact. At its heart, WDI is about changing corporate culture to deliver better work. Now that is a huge challenge, but by working with all of you, it's one we're determined to meet. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right. Next up on the stage, we have PASSPASSION, a platform which is connecting passionate people and craft companies. Big round of applause. Loud, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. So, good morning, everyone. I am the father of 6 children. 6. Can you imagine? So you can imagine how hectic it can be at home sometimes. And I remember a few months ago, during dinner, one of my kids asking me, "Hey, Daddy, what have you done today?" And I thought, emails, PowerPoints, and a few meetings. "Oh," she said. And that "oh" was really a shock, was really a signal to me. I have to do something meaningful of my job. So, you know what society says today. The diploma is more important than your passion. And when I graduated, the manual professions were not an option. Not an option. Which is quite a paradox, because when you look at people working today, 49% are willing to change. They're not happy with their job. They want to do something more concrete, something which is meaningful, something with their hands, maybe. So we, as a team at PASSPASSION, we decided to create a catalog of artisanal training courses. Very simple concept. 2 types of offer. It can be a leisure training course, or it can be a professional training course if you want to go further in your job. And it works. It works. Our order book has been multiplied by 10 in the last 6 months. And all of our trainees, 100%, gave us a 5-star after their training sessions. They're happy with it. And it's working. Oops, went too fast. So if you want to change the world a little bit with us, please invest now. We are opening our capital. You can invest and perpetuate artisanal know-how. You can invest and help the younger generation to find their career path easier. Because I tell you something, when you spend 5 days at a baker, at a winemaker, at a cutler, you know for a fact at the end of those 5 days if that's really the job that you want to do. And that's how you can help them go and find and decide on the right job for the future. So if you want to know more about this fundraising, about the company, you can scan the QR code behind me. I'll be around the whole day. You can call me. We'll be sitting there. And I'd like to conclude very simply. I can't wait for my children to ask me again, "Hey, Daddy, what have you done today?" Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And you can even stay here because we're about to have our first round of Q&A. Guys, we're about to invite them all back on the stage. Jump up, let's bring some energy into the room. Give them a standing ovation. They bring their energy, they give their time to make this world a better place. Thank you. All right, so we have 9 minutes for a Q&A now. So I'll hand it over to you two. We'd love to have a question from everybody and take it away. And I'll ask you guys to try to keep between the 2 screens. Thank you.
Well, first, thank you so much. It was very, very interesting. My first question is for Crowd for Impact. I really like your project. My question is, why would a company work with you instead of going directly to an NGO to engage its employees on a daily basis?
There's a couple of reasons why they would do that. One reason is we have a lot of choices. it's quite time intensive to. Here it would be easy to actually go to the impact startups yourself, but the rest of the year, in a corporate environment, you usually don't meet these cool people. So you find them on our platform, and you're always free to call them yourself if you want to use the time to do that. But it's very convenient to use our service to test and try how these startups work. At the same time, you see that they work based on the testimonials they receive from existing clients already. And that's where the idea of the crowd comes in. So when other companies do it with a startup, then it's easy. I also want to do it, you know. So that's mainly the reason. And of course, you receive also the visibility you want to have when you engage with an impact startup. Other companies see that, hey, Innovexus is not just investing in startups, but they also buy cool gifts for their employees through that tool, and in this way create the market which these change makers need. So maybe, I don't know if that answered your question.
Thank you. A follow-up with Crowd for Impact. I was curious about your business currently and how you're planning to grow in the next 3 years.
Yeah, so the business model is like impact startups basically pay a small commission on every sales. So no upfront costs. When you start selling on our platform, we get a little share of it. Our share is 14%. That's much better than when you make it on a retailer's shelf in the store, where you are sometimes, in Finland it's 40 to 60% you're paying margin for them. So that's the thing. And of course we have features for the companies who use our tool. So it's like kind of a SaaS model. The more features you use, if you want to have a report from us about the commitments and engagements you had with the impact startups, where you have certain data in there, you will pay for that for us. So we take it from the ones who have it and not the ones who do the impact mostly. So, and maybe about like our future in 3 years, of course, we are looking to raise some capital. We're currently looking at or discussing with angel investors who share our values and who can also bring something in, like we need some expertise, for instance, for SaaS development. Like, yeah, we're a rather young team, and there might be some people out there who are more experienced than we, and we would like to have them as investors.
So, looking for angels in France as well, or just in Finland?
I'll ask you to keep the answer brief so we can hear from the other solutions as well. Yeah.
We don't see any barriers there. They can also be from India if they want to.
Okay,
so.
thank you.
Thank you so much. I have a question for the newsroom as well. Very noble fight. But how do you do it basically? I mean, we've seen this week with the Twitter acquisition of Elon Musk that the fake accounts, there are too many of them. We don't even know how many. So how do you spot the misinformation on a daily and efficient manner?
Yes. So, I can hear myself. So we have developed an AI solution that basically looks at articles for the time being. So that means that the technology right now is not there to look at specific tweets yet. We're going there, but it's not top-notch yet. So what it does right now is basically looking at anything that is a news article, and we assess it on 5 different pillars. We start from the source. We then look at the author, the references the article is making. So what is it linking out to? Is it a Nature article or is it a WhatsApp conversation? The key claims it's making, and we cross-reference them online. And lastly, we look at the language, and so potential bias and risk of clickbait. Now, these 5 elements were defined very early in our story, in the sense that we started from basically 3 months of research, where we interviewed people from psychology to journalists and technologists. And with them, we defined what the strategy would be. And then we basically applied technology to scale it out. Thank you.
I have a question for Planet Possible. I really like the idea for the students. But again, I'm very revenue oriented. How are you going to convince the students? And students usually do not have that much money. So your business revenue, how you plan to make it everything?
Yeah, absolutely. So actually, students won't pay for the platform. Rather, universities would pay on behalf of the student and subsidize the cost. So looking at just the market, universities are already paying for these services in healthcare and fitness for the students to access on behalf for free just simply by attending the school. So this would be another service that they would provide to take action for the planet.
I have a question for ShareAction. Well, a very nice project as well. But like, how do you manage? I get how you find your information. You mentioned a lot of public information. But I mean, if you think about complex supply chains of big companies, like they have suppliers and their suppliers have suppliers who themselves have other suppliers. So how do you manage to like know who are in those chains to then gather the information?
Yeah, it's a very good question. I suppose on the first point about public information, should have been a bit clearer perhaps. The reason WDI exists is that the information that companies are currently publicly reporting is inadequate. France, I think, is actually leading the world. I think French companies are better than almost anywhere else on this, but it's still very hard to compare which companies are providing good jobs and which ones are not. And you're quite right that today companies have much more to say, understandably, about their directly employed staff than they do about their suppliers. But we have designed the questions that we ask of companies in such a way that even the sustainability leaders are being stretched. So right now, you're right that many of the leading multinational companies probably wouldn't be able to publish much information on their suppliers. But because of the way we've engaged with these companies, they are on a journey to get there, and we want to help them do that as best we can.
A lot of lovely solutions from all of you, but ShareAction, I again have a question for you. You said France is one of your target markets in one of your PPT. And we're advanced, but still, how long it's going to take you to convince our organization, and how long it's going to take you to operate in France?
And we'll just keep it quick because we have 1 minute left. We'd love to hear a question for everybody.
Okay, so roughly half of the CAC 40 report to WDI at the moment. We have very strong support from French institutional investors. So there is definitely demand for what we're doing in France. Currently, we're a team of 6. When we get to be a team of 20, that's when we'll be able to have a meaningful presence in France, and I hope that comes very soon.
Any fundraising?
We've got 30 seconds left. You can continue chatting after, but we'd love to have a question.
Okay, last question. I really like what you're doing, and even like we need to make noise about other like manual professions and to show that it is a possibility. Right. Especially in Switzerland, they are very good on that. How do you find the professionals you work with? How do you convince them to work with you and to spend time to explain what they do and why it's important?
We find them because we have agreements with what we call in France la Chambre des métiers et de l'artisanat. So they give us indication of where to go to. Also, we have a number of criteria like the labels they can have. They can be entreprise du patrimoine vivant. They can have we're looking for really top level artisan people. Another key of decision is the place where they are. It has to be a nice place. It has to be a plus beau village de France. It has to be so it goes all together. You have to learn a new job, but also it's a nice place to be because the people who go there, they are taking 5 days off of their job, so it's kind of a holiday also for them. So they learning. And
I'm going to have to jump in.
Okay.
Everybody, big round of applause to our first 5 amazing solutions. And I know that 9 minutes is not a lot for Q&A, but we will have a networking area over here, so you're welcome to continue diving deeper into their solutions. Some of them have booths as well, so it's great to have a little snapshot into what they're doing thanks to our jury. But we have now 5 more incredible solutions waiting to come on stage. And so, without further ado, I want to introduce our next solution, Clever Carbon, who are working on carbon literacy. Yoo-hoo!
Today, in the context of climate, a single-use coffee cup and a flight are bad. In other words, we fundamentally lack the ability to communicate and understand the impact of our daily decisions in an objective manner. What if instead we could say a single-use coffee cup is 16 grams of CO2 and a flight is 121 kilograms of CO2 for an hour and 15 minutes? Instead of good and bad, we're being objective. We're using data and facts. What if we had a carbon literate society? One that understands the impact of their decisions in the context of greenhouse gas emissions. A carbon literate society understands what activities contribute to their carbon footprint. They understand that a serving of pork is 1,800 grams of CO2, an apple, 35 grams, a serving of beef, 7,700 grams. They understand that energy consumption drives major emissions today, and that our emails sit on data centers, so they change their habits. They send links instead of attachments. They use data to help them make their decisions in their everyday lives. They seek products that help them quantify their impacts, and they support brands that are transparent and accountable at every level. Our hypothesis is that if we have a carbon literate society, we can more quickly reduce our emissions. And it's not only about changing our habits, it's understanding the scale of the problem. Today we have over 3,200 gigatons of CO2 in our atmosphere. We need solutions that have gigaton scale removal in order to get to net zero companies, cities, and countries. At Clever Carbon, we create engaging resources to help people start their carbon literacy journey. Our coffee menu helps people understand, oh, a cup of coffee has a carbon footprint. Dairy is much more impactful than plant-based, and that a single-use coffee cup has emissions. So maybe they'll switch to reusable cups or plant-based options. This menu is translated in 6 different languages, displayed in over 20 different coffee shops globally. And we continue to create content to help people along their carbon literacy journey. Our quiz is translated in over 9 different languages. Over 25,000 people have taken it globally, over 100 people at this conference, and it helps people understand their carbon footprint in 2 minutes. If we think about nutrition labels and how they change consumer behavior and manufacturer behavior, we know that when it comes to changing habits, what gets measured gets changed. My name is Michelle. I'm the founder of Clever Carbon, and together with my amazing teammates in the audience today, we're committed to raising carbon footprint literacy in a hip and fun way for a net zero future where we have carbon literate companies, cities, and countries. Come by our booth.
You take it. Thank you so much. All right, next up we've got Green Got, who are working on fighting the climate crisis.
Hi everyone, I'm very happy to see you all here. So I guess you have all read the last IPCC report. You know, the one that's saying that we have 3 years basically to change everything and to save us. Well, the scientists were kind enough in that report to give us also a solution to change our world. And there is one big solution, one huge leverage that has a huge impact that no one is talking about. Do you know what is it? It's finance. Finance is huge to change and reshape our world. And there is one good news and one bad news about that. Well, we'll start with the bad news, of course. The bad news is that we need 6 times more money right now to fund our transition, to develop new energy, to develop new infrastructure that our transition has now. So 6 times more money. But there is a good news. And the good news is that actually the money exists. It is here. But where is the money, though? Well, our bank didn't really read the last IPCC report. And they have invested everything in oil, coal, and gas. And this is like really a huge amount of money. Since the Paris Agreement, our bank have invested $4.6 trillion in the fossil fuel industries. And this is very sad because, just to recap, we have an entire generation doing everything she can to lower her impact on the environment. You, everyone, me, we do everything we can to protect our environment. And on the other hand, we have our money, what we are working for during all our life, that is basically destroying all our things to improve our environment and fund massively fossil fuel, and it emits a lot of CO2. And was not okay for us. This is why we created Green Gut. Green Gut is the most powerful tool at your individual scale to take back power on your money and to reshape our world. With Green Gut, your money, you decide which world your money builds. With a saving account and a current account, your money directly first fund fossil fuels energies, and then you can redirect it directly through green companies and projects that are basically building our transition. So this was obviously a solution that was awaited, at least in France, because we opened, in the first 10 days, we are more than 2,000 accounts opened. It has been now 4 weeks, and we have more than 4,000 accounts open, and it's still on a waiting list. And we have a huge community of 130,000 people that are ready to join us, and we will be very happy for you to join us. And we have a booth just here if you have any questions.
Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, next up we have Goodbag, the world's first smart shopping bag that rewards consumers for reusing it. Give it up, please.
Hello. Thanks. Hello, my name is Christoph. I'm CEO and co-founder of Be Good, and it's my pleasure to show you how we turn consumers into change makers. Climate change and plastic pollution are the biggest challenges of our time. Consumers are worried about these problems and want to become part of the solution. As a result, they're now looking for companies that help them make a difference, and sustainability is becoming a key competitive factor that drives the customer's buying decision. This change in consumer behavior is a huge chance for any sustainable brand. We believe that changing the world together with a brand should be fun, rewarding, and visible. This is why we made it our mission to enable every consumer to become a change maker in their everyday life and let them improve the world every time they buy sustainable products or act sustainable. On our platform, users and consumers learn more about their impact and get rewarded with points, we call them seeds, every time they act sustainable and buy sustainable. Every seed point has a monetary value, and after collecting them, users can donate them to selected organizations to, for example, plant trees against climate change or collect plastic waste out of the ocean. We started out with rewarding people for using our smart, usable shopping bag, Goodbag. The Goodbag connects to our app through an integrated NFC chip. Users just go shopping with the Goodbag. In the shop, they open up the app and hold their phone close to the Goodbag logo to collect seeds or collect ocean plastic right away, every time they reuse their bag. Goodbag already works in over 10 million stores worldwide and is sold by leading retailers such as Swiss retailer Denner or Portugal's largest retailer Continent. But this was just the start, because it's even more important what products consumers put into the bag. We started out with rewarding people for buying sustainable products. They simply scan a unique QR code on the product to collect seeds for buying it, and at the same time learn more about its environmental impact. We launched this feature last month together with Nestlé's brand Garden Gourmet, which is plant-based, and the success was so big that we're already now expanding it to other brands. I'm also very happy to announce that since last week, our users can also scan the barcodes on all the products in the supermarket to learn more about the environmental footprint of all the products there and their eco-score. So why do some of the world's largest retailers and consumer brands work with a young startup like us? Because we provide them and their customers with a customer experience as a service that can be tailored to their needs and makes it fun and rewarding to visit their stores or buy their sustainable products. Instead of developing their own solutions or campaigns, they can use our platform to create measurable impact together with your customers, increase customer loyalty and sales right away. We just closed our investment round, and I'm very happy and looking forward to now expand with new partners who think that it's a good idea to reward consumers for buying and acting sustainable. So if you think that it's good to turn consumers into change makers, please come talk to me, and I'm looking forward so we can plant the seeds for a better tomorrow today. Thank you.
So
looking
much.
forward to connect.
Big round of applause, everybody. All right, we've got 2 more solutions, and then we're going to have a Q&A. So next up, we've got Pickme, the hyper-local and sustainable crowdsourced delivery network. Big round of applause.
Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. It's okay? Yeah. I'm Jessie. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Pickme. And today I will talk to you about a big injustice for the planet, the last mile delivery impact. Can you imagine? We are in 2022 and 30% of the parcels are not delivered at the first attempt. It's a big cost. It's a big cost for retailers, for carriers, and for the planet, because it's the planet which pays for that. It's 25% of the emissions, of the carbon emissions due to urban transports. It's huge. So with Pickme, we do magic by turning neighbors into local and social pickup points. With Pickme, you can get easily your parcels directly to your neighbors. They are paid, they are weighted and sorry. Oh, sorry. Okay, and your neighbors can get easily an income to get your parcels. So we built a unique and scalable network with a strong social spirit. We built a more than 70,000 keepers community, and that's huge. In only 18 months, we signed and launched with more than the 10th big player in logistics like DHL, DPD, GLS, or Colissimo. And with these big players, we act like an add-on for their logistics. So with Pickme, we build the future of logistics. Our core belief is that the future of logistics is a simple, multi-service, local solutions. Thank you very much.
Very much. Okay, we've got 1 more solution, and then we're going to have our Q&A. And our final solution of the Changing Habits session this morning is A-World, the platform to engage, measure, and educate your stakeholders.
Thank you very much. Hi, everyone. I'm Alex from A-World, and I have a question for you. What do the United Nations, Intesa Sanpaolo, which is the biggest bank in Italy, and Enel, the biggest energy company in Europe, have in common? A-World, the platform for living sustainably, the stakeholder engagement platform that wants to engage, educate your stakeholders, help them measure their impact, and report and reward them for their climate actions. We know that during this transition, people need to measure their impact. They need to be more aware of what their footprint is. And also, they need to be incentivized for reducing their impact. But on the other side, organizations need to engage their stakeholders. They need to obtain data in order to report and then improve their ESG score. This is why we built the impact engagement methodology, a proprietary methodology that aims to show you your carbon footprint, to then educate you with personalized content, to then show you what are the concrete actions that you can take on a daily lifestyle, which will show you the reduction of CO2 and water that you can take. We'll also, on the engagement side, we have community challenges where we ask you to take part of challenges with your friends and with your peers. And also data that is collected from your mobility and from your usage of energy at home. All of this aims to generate the first impact score. It's a qualitative and quantitative score that is based on your CO2 emissions, on your knowledge, and on the climate actions that you're taking. A-World is a platform, but also an app. It's a platform that can be integrated via API through any third-party app or platform, through a loyalty program, internet, and website, but it's also an app. And also is the only app selected by the UN in order to engage citizens on the SDGs, and it supports the Act Now campaign, the campaign for individual action on climate change and sustainability. You can find our app on the UN's homepage and on the Sustainable Development page as the only tool to engage and educate citizens worldwide on the SDGs. This brings us massive visibility. We have our dear friend Leo posting about us and many other ambassadors, and we've just generated more than 6 million actions right now over the first year and PR across the entire globe. Our business model, we help companies, of course we help citizens engage and educate themselves, but we also help corporations via two models. You can create your own community inside our existing app via gamified experience, where we'll show you, we'll have a yearly process where we engage, educate your employees, your stakeholders, but it also can be connected through API, through your loyalty existing program in order to engage your clients too. This is something that is being requested over the last few months, which is being requested by banks, by energy companies, by any retailer that wants to engage their own clients. We are among the fastest growing companies in Italy. We work with massive corporations, and we just opened a safe note for 2 mil, signed by 1.5, and we're with Telefonica also part of the deal. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, everybody, it's time for our next round of Q&A. So we're going to invite the 5 solutions back on the stage. Give them a massive round of applause. They are entrepreneurs, change makers, movers, shakers. They're making our world a better place. And again, we'll have 9 minutes. Yes, I love it. To hear from our lovely jury for some questions. I'll ask you really to stick between the 2 screens so that we can get you on camera as well. All right.
Thank you so much for all your speeches. It was super interesting, and also like to see potential synergies are really between all of you. I mean, the Clever Carbon, for instance, with the goodbag. I mean, I'm sure you could do a lot of things together. I have a first question for Clever Carbon. So, what's your business model exactly? And like, how do you finance your initiative, and how do you convince companies to show the carbon that their carbon emission, basically?
Yeah, so today, in terms of a business model, I'm bringing in revenue by doing carbon footprint workshops with companies. So I've worked with the MBA, Spotify, Miro. They kind of want to teach their employees in a fun way, but I think the next level is really to scale that knowledge and to have carbon literate companies. So having a platform where we can make it easy for companies to certify their employees is part of HR, and I see that kind of as the future to really get this out into the masses.
Yeah, I really like your product as well, Clever Carbon. Currently, where are you working, and where did you deploy this training and information to citizen and company?
Yeah, so currently I'm based in New York. Our volunteers are really global, and many of our resources are translated into different languages, like the coffee menu and our carbon footprint quiz. My workshop is delivered by me right now, and that's delivered online. It's an hour and 15 minutes. But if I have a platform where I can translate the content and employees can individually click, they don't need me, that's how we're really going to scale.
Thank you a lot. I have another question for Green Gut. You have a lot of competitions between the traditional banks and then the neobanks also, and then other green neobanks that are starting to emerge as well. So how do you manage with that? Because you mentioned your community that is very important in your project. So how do you deal with all that competition?
So with the traditional bank, I mean, we are really wishing that they will shift towards green investment, but it's not for tomorrow. They need a little bit more encouragement. For the traditional green bank like LANEF or Crédit Coopérative, they are very good in what they do, but are a little bit lagging in terms of communication and acquisition. And in terms of for the new green bank, well, they have a great product too, but we have like the best traction. Like for instance, there is another one who has succeeded to have 7,000 clients in 15 months. We have more than the half in 3 weeks.
Thank you. I have a question for goodbag. it was impressive. A lot of nice solution, a lot of customer already in Switzerland, Portugal. With you're backed with large corporates such as Nestle. What is your expansion plan in the coming years?
So our goal is really to integrate as many solutions as possible. So we want not only to offer our own solutions, but also existing solutions on the market, a platform that can integrate in one platform. Because in the end, we don't want to have 15 apps on our phone, which we need for reusable containers, reusable coffee cups, etc. So some of the solutions we will develop internally, but we're also very open to expand with other solutions that can integrate in our app. It's very open. It has an optical scanner. It has an NFC scanner. It can do lots of things and rewarding people for buying and acting sustainable. So our goal is really to become the leading platform for acting and buying sustainable and to provide also data about more products which we don't source ourselves, but using the existing databases out there. So this is really our ambition and goal, but we're building step by step on valid business cases for us. But if there's other companies that have solutions that want to benefit from our existing user bases already, to win new customers for their solutions and have a more interactive customer experience, because this is what we're really focusing on, building the best possible customer experience that makes it fun and rewarding to do good for the planet, because this is how we get it to the masses, and this is what we ultimately want, really focus on making it a good experience. So this is our plan. We want to really do it one product at a time, but we are very open to collaborate in the future. So this is what we're after.
A last question in terms of market. So you're going to stay in Switzerland and Portugal, or are you planning to expand in France as well?
No, we already, actually Goodbag is already sold in 10 countries worldwide with brands such as Nestle, who are global. We want to go global as quickly as possible. We just piloted this in Portugal. The Goodbag already, you can use it in Carrefour. It works in 10 million stores. It's just not sold there yet. But you can use your bag in these stores if you order it online, if you buy it in the store in Austria, Switzerland, Germany, Portugal. You can also travel to it with France. You can also scan the barcode of French products. Actually, French products with the barcode scanner have the most, we have the most data about the French products because we're using a database that is originally from France for providing the eco-environmental score. So it's very global, but of course we need partners locally to build the user base up. So this is what we're after. But if you want to download our app, actually you can do it right away. And actually the first person who will download the app, come to talk to me afterwards, I give my last Goodbag to you. So you can try doing good with it in Paris.
Thank you. I have a question for Pickme. Yeah, last mile delivery is a big mess. So congrats on tackling that issue. Could you tell me a bit more about your business model and how that works? Like, who is your customer basically? Is it like the delivery company or the final customer?
Yeah, thank you. We act as an add-on for logistic carriers. So our clients are basically carriers and transport company. We work with DHL, DPD, GLS, and Colissimo, and we are a new option for them in their delivery method.
Isn't it cheaper for them to stay with their classic organization? Yeah. So how do you convince them?
For example, Colissimo, it costs for them €5 if they deliver to you the day after, and with us, of course, it's less expensive.
Okay, thank you. And I have a question for AWOL as well. So it's very impressive that the data that you build, but I mean, like the platform that you build, sorry. But how do you go from raw data to a data that each one of your customers can understand and work with? Because I mean, there is a lot of education that you have to do with your data to make it usable, I guess, for all of your customers.
Yes, we are synchronizing qualitative and quantitative data. So qualitative data comes from the educational. Everything is mapped on the SDGs. So it starts from a carbon footprint. So we understand who you are first in order to then suggest to you a tailor-made experience based on your education and based on your favorite interest, to then go and suggest to you these habits that are tailor-made for you. So I cannot tell you don't drive if you don't have a car. So I need to know who you are first in order to give you a personalized experience. All this data is aggregated in a data lake, and we are implementing AI that wants to aim to refine the profilation and then to continue suggesting you the better habits that you can take on a daily basis in order to reduce your footprint. It's data that we also want to enrich with the data from your mobility and your electricity at home or energy, integrating directly with the energy supplier in order to have real data. in order to then not only have a manual input, but also have data that flows in automatically and have concrete data to base our platform and analysis on.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for your pitches.
We have 1 minute left if you have one last question.
Yeah, I can. Okay, yay. I have another question for, goodbag. It's about how you finance. So the first part of your products that you explain and the seed that you can transform into euros that you can donate. Who finances that part of the app?
So how the seeds are financed?
Yeah.
From our partners. So if you, for example, use a goodbag in a partner store, the retailer is paying for the monetary value. If you buy a Garden Gourmet product from Nestle, then it's basically Nestle is paying up for the seeds, and then the users can choose to donate their seeds to plant a tree, for example, in Portugal, Mozambique, or collect plastic out of the ocean. So this is how the money is distributed. And to be fair, we also take a 20% fee on top of that, but I think this is quite little compared to the value that we provide, which basically finances just our business. But the majority of that money goes directly from the large brands and corporates to the organizations, and it's an interactive experience, and that's our goal, that large corporations donate more money to these projects, which have the impact on the ground and have an incentive through our platform to do so.
Okay,
All right. Thank you so much to our solutions, to our jury, and to you, our audience, for being here, giving your energy this morning. This brings us to the end of our first round of pitches for today on changing habits. But in just a few minutes, we'll be getting straight on to the next round of pitches on food and agriculture. So you're welcome to stick around. And otherwise, have a great rest of your day, and thanks for being here. See you soon.